Hey there, everybody. Welcome to my broadcast. It's about 6:30. We're close. We're close. Look at that. My hair's a mess. Getting ready for Gallifrey 1 this weekend. Have you heard of Gallifrey 1? It's the Los Angeles' Doctor Who convention, and I'm going to be there. So I'm trying to been growing out my hair to get a good 10th Doctor cosplay going. So I've been experimenting with new hair product. So that's why this is a bit of a mess. I'm experimenting with the top of my head there. So, thanks for tuning in, and we're going to get to drawing here. If you noticed by how I entitled this Periscope broadcast, Deadpool plus Zoolander equals Deadpoolander. I was thinking about that this morning, how both those movies are opening up this weekend. Don't know I'll have a chance to see either of those movies because I've got the convention, got tons of work, and I have to get ready for Long Beach the following weekend. So probably won't be seeing movies until April, but it's good to know that those movies exist. So I thought, hey, let's do a movie mashup. Deadpool, Zoolander, Deadpoolander. So, already started the pencils, and now we'll move into the inks. And hopefully if there's time, watercolors. I have to make sure I make it to the office supply store before they close today, because I am out of so many toner cartridges that I can't print out a thing. So that's a little unfortunate for the stuff I need to do tomorrow for work. So, got to run some late night errands before they close. But enough about my life. Let's get into drawing, and I'll try to answer your questions as I draw, per usual, on my Periscope broadcast. So feel free to post. Can't guarantee I can answer them all. I can't guarantee that I can even see them all because a lot of my focus goes into the drawing, but it's always good to hang out with y'all, to chat, and to draw. So let's clip into the rig and get drawing right away. And here we go. Here's Deadpool doing the blue steel. Let's see, this is the wrong way to put the camera in because now I can't see your comments or questions. There we go. So there we are. So we're just going to jump right into the inks. It's having a little bit trouble focusing. We'll try to edit this out for YouTube. There we go. We've locked in. So I'm going to be using several different types of markers and pens to ink this piece. Using my zebra brush pens, my fine and medium point brush pens, my Pigma Micron fine point pens, my 01 and 0005, and I'll probably use some of my Copic multi-liner 05 for some thicker lines if I need to. So here we go. As you can see, edge stage, I started drawing that this morning when I got the idea, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop here, do the rest of the Periscope broadcast tonight. So since we have to see the blue steel expression, I had to pull the mask up off his face to really bring it home. And since Zoolander's all about being beautiful, Deadpool is all about being grotesque. So, you know, it's the contrast between the two characters there. So let's get right into the inking now. Enough of this jibba jabba. So I'm going to start with the mask here. I like to work foreground to background, ideally, whenever possible. And I'm just putting in broad strokes here for the wrinkles of the mask being pushed up on his head there. It's going to wrinkle up more towards the bottom and less so towards the top of his head. So I'm just coming in and putting in broad, quick strokes to convey those wrinkles. And I'll tighten things up if and when necessary. Now, one thing I definitely need to do here at the start is to ink the hilt of his katana so that I can work around his mask around this, since this is in the utmost foreground. So I'm using my drafting tool here, my drafting triangle to get those sweet straight lines. Thank you, Sonic Ninja, making fun of the way I say katana. Yes, that's how we say it in Texas, a katana. We also say K-Tail Records. Of course, I don't think K-Tail still makes records, but as a child of the 80s, 70s, and 80s, Why am I digressing in here talking about katanas and kata? I blame you, Sonic Ninja. So if you're just tuning into my Periscope broadcast, welcome, welcome. I'm doing a movie character mashup here today. Got this idea this morning. Deadpool plus Zoolander equals Deadpool-lander. Apologize if I'm missing some of y'all's questions and comments there. If it's a really long one, it's hard to see because of my clips, so the shorter comments are a little easier to catch and read. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, if you just tuned in, you might have missed it at the top of the show, both Deadpool and Zoolander 2 open this weekend. Unfortunately, I will not be seeing either movie right away because of my deadline and convention schedule. I got some really psycho deadlines right now. Fun stuff I'm doing. In fact, I got a new little assignment today. No, it's not a little assignment, it's a cover, I should say. I've got a cover gig that I'm very excited about, so I got to work on that a little later tonight. So I'm going to be chained to the drawing table for the next couple of weeks, for at least, if not longer, as well as a couple of SoCal conventions. Gallifrey 1 this Friday, or this Saturday. I can only go for one day because of my deadline schedule. I wasn't able to attend all three days of Gallifrey 1, and I'll be speaking on a how to create comics panel there on Saturday afternoon. So if you're at Gallifrey 1, come by and visit us at 4 o'clock. And then there's Long Beach Comic Expo in Long Beach, which is a great place for them to host the Long Beach Comic Expo. And that's the following Saturday, and I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. So a lot of my time and energy is going into getting my drawings did. So we'll not be able to see the movies for a while, but I look forward to hearing what people have to say about them, see if they're good or not. Though I've already been seeing some good buzz about Deadpool and bad reviews about Zoolander. Oh, you're loving the Spidey Silk story so far. Thank you. Thanks for reading that. I appreciate that. If y'all aren't aware, my latest gig is the Spider-Man and Silk Infinite comic over on the Comixology app. The print version comes out March 2nd. But that's where you can see me, see my comic work currently. Am I going to be at Phoenix Comic Con? I'm not quite sure yet. I'm hoping that it works out, that I can be there. Stay tuned to toddnauck.com for all my, and my social networks as well, for all updates and announcements of which conventions I will be at. I know we have a lot of SoCal viewers here, as well as viewers from all over the world, but to all my SoCal comic friends, just want to let y'all know I will not be at WonderCon this year. it's being held in LA instead of Anaheim, and that being Easter weekend, I'm not able to pull off WonderCon. I might show up on Saturday, maybe in my Doctor Who cosplay, just to walk around, hang out, see friends and whatnot. But I will not be exhibiting. So if you're looking to get a commission sketch, a convention commission sketch or something like that from me, or a sketchbook, one of my sketchbooks, or other things I offer at a convention, Long Beach Comic Expo is where you're going to have to find me this spring. Any Salt Lake City Comic Con plans? Not right now. They invited me to be a guest last year, and it was a lot of fun, and I hope they'll invite me again. So feel free to let them know you'd like to see me back there as a guest, and hopefully they'll extend me another invite. I'd love to come back. My wife and I had a great time. Salt Lake is a very lovely area as well. We'd hope to come back and spend a little bit longer and do some sightseeing. Who am I drawing? Oh, you must have just tuned into my broadcast. So first off, welcome. This is Deadpool, but he's also Zoolander. More on the Deadpool. Pretty much Deadpool doing Blue Steel, so he's Deadpool-lander. But really, it's pretty much just Deadpool doing the Zoolander face. And once I get the mask drawn in here, then we'll move into the facial area here and hook up this ugly mug. And if there's time, I hope to take this to watercolor as well. Drawing this on 9x12 watercolor board. Hopefully I'm staying in camera frame as well. How about Copic? No Copic for this one. This one is not drawn on the right board for Copic. It's only going to be watercolor, if there's time. Watercolor board has a bit of a tooth to it, so I don't like to use Copic markers on a watercolor board because the tooth of the watercolor paper wreaks havoc on the nibs of my Copic markers, and I don't want to shred those, especially with conventions coming up so soon. So this one had always intended to be a watercolor one. But I still do a lot of Copic illustrations. I like doing both, so I haven't traded in one for the other. What pens am I using? Right now I'm using the Zebra brush pen. It's the medium weight Zebra brush pen, medium size tip. I'll probably be moving into some other finer point pens as after I get the for the finer details, after I get the main contours squared away. Do I have a waiting list for going for Wizard World Des Moines? I'm assuming you're referring to convention commissions. And if so, visit toddnauck.com and you can learn more about how my convention commissions work. The list doesn't start till day of the convention. So it's the first handful of people that can get to my table as soon as the doors open. And depending on the con, if they have a VIP list or VIP tickets, so people who can get into the con an hour early, if that's the case, then I break up my list into 2 sections. There's the VIPs. I take a limited number of VIP requests, and then I save some spots for the general admission people so that they get a chance, so they're not shut out. Otherwise, I could end up being filled up with all VIPs, and no general admission people would ever have a shot, since there's a whole hour in between the entry times. So, but it all depends on the cons. Some cons don't have VIP hours, so or VIP tickets, so it's just the first handful of people who get to my table as soon as the doors open. So check with your convention. Make sure you know where to line up. I know conventions, especially busy ones, can have a very difficult time managing crowds, so you want to make sure you're in the exact right spot. Unfortunately, I can't be responsible for where a convention queues you up and lets you in, so I've been at conventions where people had queued up in the wrong line because of misinformation, or they moved people around in lines, so unfortunately, I can't have any control over that. So it's just, so do your research ahead of time to make sure you're in the spot you need to be to get into the convention, to get the things you want, especially if it's one of my commissioned art pieces. Have I ever been to a convention in Minnesota? I don't think I have. I have not. But I'd love to be a guest out that way. I love going to places I haven't been to before. Have I ever drawn a Flash book? I have not drawn an issue of Flash yet. I've drawn stories that have featured the Flash, but I've not drawn back like in my Young Justice days and when I did a lot of work for DC Comics on a regular basis. And but other than that, no, I have not drawn an actual Flash comic, an issue of the Flash, though I'd love to. So now I've switched to the finer point zebra brush pen. And some of these comments are too long. Have you ever thought about doing a drawing? It's fading out. If you can, I'm so sorry. The longer ones are harder for me to read because of the way my phone clamps into the rig here. How much does all your arts? Again, I gotta see if we can readjust this so I can get a better chance of seeing else comments. All right, that's going to work a little bit better. What's my favorite project to work on? It's hard to say. It's like asking a parent, who is your favorite child? So I've been fortunate to work on a lot of great projects. So Young Justice was awesome. Nightcrawler was a lot of fun. Doing my own creator-owned series Wild Guard was a fantastic time and learning experience. Drawing Spider-Man on multiple occasions has been very, very cool. So I've been fortunate to work on a lot of awesome projects, so I can't say which one's my favorite. What was my favorite part of the Deadpool and Zoolander trailer? I don't really remember. It's been a while since I've seen those trailers, so I can't answer that question, unfortunately. So now I've switched down to the 05 Pigment Micron multiliner for some finer details. Now it's time to get the gory details going in here on Deadpool's face. Or Deadpool-Lander's face, I should say. Now there's some challenges here in conveying this expression because Zoolander is heavy on the eyebrows. There's a lot going on in the eyebrow expression. But Deadpool doesn't really have eyebrows because they've all have pretty much burned off, I guess, is a way of putting it. So it's really a challenge to not have the luxury of bushy eyebrows to help convey that blue steel Le Tigre Magnum look in his face. There. So I have to really work the brow in general, but not overwork it. So this piece is a little bit of a challenge, but definitely a fun challenge. Do I use reference photos or draw from memory? It depends. Like for Deadpool, I can draw Deadpool from memory. I've drawn him enough times. I can pretty much get a basic Deadpool uniform costume down pretty well. I mean, he's had lots of different looks and lots of different accessories, so that can change from comic to comic. But, you can get the basics of Deadpool. I can get the basics down pretty well. Now, Zoolander, never drawn Zoolander. I've never drawn Blue Steel or Magnum or Le Tigre. His signature look. So I had to look up Zoolander photo reference. I had to did a Google search for Zoolander and had to look at Ben Stiller and how he shaped his eyes and his brow and his lips, how they purse and pucker. These are all things I needed to see so that I could convey that right emotion. So I do both. I draw from memory and I draw from real life and photo reference. It just all depends on what I need to draw and what kind of information that I need or what do I already have stored in my head. Now what's fun about drawing Deadpool's face is all the textures. It's a jacked up face and the lines can be really fun. Like putting all these lines around his eyes to make him look sickly is a lot of fun. But they have to mean something. Your lines need to mean something. I see a lot of young artists, and this is just, it's going to happen because an artist is young, so I'm not saying they're bad for doing it. That's not what I'm saying at all. But a lot of times, especially when I was a young artist as well, the idea is you just put a bunch of lines in, and that means detail. But it can really flatten out an image if you don't have your detail lines mean something. They need to go with the flow and the direction of the shape of the face, the cheekbones, the eyes, the eyelids, the brow, the nose, the bridge of the nose, the tip of the nose, the nostril. These are all planes and shapes and angles. And so you want your detail lines. I wanted these little detail lines to create a somewhat circular fashion around the eye. It's not just doing some lines this diagonally and then that diagonally. It's informing the viewer of the shape of the body part, whatever that may be. So these are definitely big things to keep in mind, young artists, when you want to do heavily detailed line work. Pay attention to the direction of the plane and shape of the face. That will help your detail lines look better than just a bunch of muddied detail lines thrown in all willy-nilly. And the sores on Deadpool's face, that's a design element as well. It's not, you want to keep them staggered. You don't want too many of the same size shapes next to each other. You want to consider the space that is not the sore, and what you're putting in and not putting in, so that you don't overwork those things either, in my opinion. Your results may vary. How much do my art supplies cost? Oh, I couldn't even begin. It's incalculable. Incalculable? Is that the right? Did I say that right? I feel like Michael Scott. It's incalculable. I couldn't even begin to tell you how much my art supplies cost. I buy in bulk, and I buy, every now and again. Fortunately, not too frequently. There's some good deals online that can help a lot. Now I'm going to put some kind of striations through these open sore type areas here. I don't know if y'all can hear that car alarm. Hopefully that's not showing up here in the audio. It's annoying, especially if this ends up on YouTube. If y'all can hear it, I apologize for it. What was the first comic series I read? The first one that I started reading as a kid who became a comic book collector was the original Secret Wars, the 1980s Secret Wars. And then from there I subscribed to Uncanny X-Men. So Uncanny X-Men was my first regular series that I read. What Marvel character would I like to redesign if I had a chance? Probably some X-Men. I think I'd like to do my take on some new X-Men costumes. How do I get the different line thicknesses with the 5 here? You know, the microns and multiliners have a little bit of a give to them, so you can get a little bit of line variation out of these. Now, mind you, this whole thing was not inked with this marker. I used my Zebra brush pens. If you tuned in late and you missed all of the heavy line work here, I did those with these, and then this was brought in for more of the facial features. So, but I can get some variation out of the microns and liners, incalculable. Okay, let's see. Do I need to add any other details anywhere here? Let's see. Team Captain America or Team Iron Man? I assume you're referring to the Civil War, Captain America Civil War. For me, man, I like characters on both sides, but I'd have to say I would be actually, before I answer, I'm curious to see, who do you think, which team do you think I'm for? Iron Man or Captain America? I'm just curious to see if y'all can guess. Oh, we got 3 for Team Captain America. Another like 7. Oh, there's an Iron Man. More Caps. Yep, you guys are right, Team Cap. If I had to choose, it'd be Team Cap. Not to say I don't like Iron Man. But it would be Team Cap. Okay, let's see. Now we're going to go to a finer multi-liner here. I'm going to go switch down to the 01 here for putting the detail in the eyes, drawing in the iris and pupils. Sorry if I'm missing y'all's questions. Always feel free to repost. Like I said at the top of the show, and if you just tuned in, I try to answer the questions I can, but I can't guarantee I can answer every question. So if y'all are cool with that, please feel free to post or repost if necessary. Can I upload more to YouTube? I hope to. I've just been really busy with work. Comic deadlines have been taking precedence, so I haven't been able to upload more to YouTube, but I will. Trust me, there are tons more videos that need to be edited and prepped and then uploaded. So there will be more material to come as soon as I get some time to do it. So at least Periscope broadcasts, I hope to get some more of those up online, but there's more original content created solely for YouTube in the queue as well. So thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos and supporting my channel. Thank you very, very much. All right, so let's see. Let's come in here and do some erasing. Take out these pencil lines using the Statler Mars plastic eraser. You'll probably see me use this on a lot of my YouTube videos. And if you're new to my channel or new to my Periscope broadcast and not aware that I have a YouTube channel, you can go to youtube.com/Todd Nauck and see some 50 plus videos, art videos that I've posted there. Some Periscope broadcasts, mostly original content for my YouTube channel. What's this look called? It's called, not sure. Can never tell them apart. They all look like the same look to me. Okay. Dead Steel, I like that. Well done. Or Red Steel, since he's mostly red. So let's get my Kuretake Niji water brush pens and my Winsor Newton Travel watercolor set here. And I'm Let's see if we can get some watercolor going. Now, I've almost used up all my red. I am woefully low on red. Got to buy a new red cake. So I'm just mixing up some sickly looking flesh tone here for his face. See, also I'm running out of white as well. See if I use a little orange. Okay, that's pretty gruesome enough color. Now I'm going to darken that color up just a smidge here. For some shadowy parts. Some more red to kind of pink out that that flesh tone for these open areas on his face. And to put a little life into his nose. How'd I get hired to draw a book? Ah, man, submitting my art to every publisher I could, getting lots of rejection letters until I finally found someone that liked what they saw, and they gave me a hire. They hired me to draw for them, and that was oddly enough. I mean, I got some small gigs, but when I got my first big break, it was from the creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, back in the early Image Comics days. He hired me to come work at his Extreme Studios. And that's where I got my first big break. And then from there I moved on to work for DC and Marvel, which I still do to this day. Well, mostly Marvel right now. But you never know, I might end up back at DC sometime. How did I get my style? Well, you know, I was influenced by my favorite artists as a kid. And then the more I drew and started drawing from real life, the more that my style started to develop. So I've said this in a lot of my YouTube videos, and if you get a chance to swing by my YouTube channel and check out those videos, I address this topic of it's not so much about finding one's style, or not about me finding my style, but really my style found me. It's just how I translate the world onto the paper. Definitely influenced by my favorite artists, but then there got to be a point where I moved beyond that to do where my art became my own. I guess it always was my own, but I wasn't as heavily influenced by other people's work on a daily, regular basis. I didn't need to have my favorite artists' comics right there on my drafting table with me as I drew all the time. But I'm still inspired by other artists. If you check out my Instagram account, you'll see a lot of different artists that I'm following and enjoy the work of. All right, so now I'm working up a red over here, utilizing a little bit of orange to I'm making up a lot of red here because we got a lot of costume to cover. I think that shade should work. Who do I think is the most powerful superhero? Wow, that's a great question. It all depends on who's writing the character, what ideas they come up with. Some people could say Superman, other people could say the Invisible Woman. So it's hard to say who's the most powerful. But if I were to give my opinion as to who's the most powerful, I would say Kitty Pryde, solely because she's my favorite character and she can do no wrong. In my eyes. Invisible Woman, because she's out of sight. She is out of sight. She is out of sight. How do I draw so well? You can only draw stick figures? Well, I have to say I have a passion for drawing. Been drawing most all my life. My earliest memories are of drawing. So that, coupled with years, a lifetime of study and practice, with a lifetime more of study and practice to come, is what has moved me beyond stick figures. But stick figures are nothing to sneeze at. There's I meet people who can't draw, and they say they can't even draw a stick figure. So if you can draw a stick figure, you're better artists than half of the people I meet out there. Because I get so many people say they can't draw stick figures. They said they can't draw a straight line with a ruler. And it's like, you can't draw a straight line with a ruler? I think there might be a problem. I can maybe make a fortune teaching people how to draw a straight line with a ruler, because really I would think it's not that hard to draw a straight line with a ruler. I don't know. Maybe it's more difficult than I realize. But if you can draw stick figures, way to go. And oddly enough, when I was a little kid, I remember one of my earliest memories was of my mom drawing stick figures in in a little children's book that I'd scribbled in. So instead of getting in trouble, she just drew along with me, and she drew these stick figures. And watching her draw those stick figures and these little simple people coming to life on the page, by her power control, just blew my 3-year-old mind. I just thought it was amazing. So there's power in stick figures. It inspired a 3-year-old Todd Nauck. So don't knock only being able to draw stick figures. And the most important thing I think about drawing is having fun. And I see that on my YouTube channel pretty regularly as well. Have fun. Okay, so we got the reds in here. Now some of these black areas I still need to finish spotting, like right here on his collar, on parts of his shoulder here. So we'll drop in some color on the katana. There goes that car alarm again. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. Hopefully not. Don't like this shade here. I want it to be a bit lighter. Dab some of that away with paper towel. Let's see, I need a kind of medium shade gray. It should be more of a brownish gray it should be even more tan than that, I think. There we go. For this shoulder strap. That one too. And we'll go ahead and do the scabbard of his katana. Welcome people, welcome to the Periscope broadcast. If you're just tuning in, seeing some hey Todds. Appreciate y'all joining me. What's the best combination for skin colors when using watercolor paint? My opinion are shades of red and yellow mostly, maybe a little bit of white, and just a hint of blue if you need to do some shadows on the face. And then a lot of water to lighten it up. Okay, Batman or Superman? Batman or Superman? Assuming you're asking which one do I like better? If you could clarify, that would be great to make sure I can answer your question correctly. Kitty Pryde, haha. Yes. Between Batman and Superman, my favorite, Kitty Pryde. Well played. Favorite Star Wars character? Oh man, that's tough. So many great characters. But I'd probably say Admiral Akbar, C-3PO, R2-D2. R2 and 3PO are kind of a pair, so you kind of have to go for both. It's hard for me to have one without the other. Chewbacca, Han Solo. And I really like Rey. I think Rey is a great new character, so I like her a lot. So those are some of the ones I like a lot. Lando's pretty awesome. Draw a picture of Jar Jar? Is it okay if I pass? Is it okay if I pass on that one? Have I ever been frustrated with a drawing that I had to stop and start over? Yes. Yes, I have. I have indeed. Yes. Frustration is common to really, I think, any human. So yes, definitely have been frustrated and have stopped and started over. Because why keep going forward with something that was just a lost cause? It's better use of time to stop, regroup, take a fresh eye, and get it done right the second time. Or third time, you know, it just all depends on what I have to draw and how frustrating it is. The frustration can be incalculable. So if you ever get frustrated with your illustrations, know that that's okay. It's okay. And it's okay to realize it's a lost cause, stop, start over, and get it done. Get it done the way you want it done, if you can. So I worked up a little bit of a different shade of reddish, bluish, orangish here to put in his sores. Just because I felt the way that it dried, a lot of the purplish shades kind of filled out too much of that, so the sores weren't getting the pop off the skin that I wanted. So just layering in some new color here. Looks like some of the red bled down into there. That's okay. That's the fun of watercolor, is that it's going to do what it wants to do. It can create some really cool effects. Let's put some of this in the lips. All right. So, yeah, sorry if I'm missing a question. Someone asked if I'm on Facebook. Yes, I am. You can find me at Art of Todd Nauck on Facebook. That is my fan page. I post on there pretty regularly when I can. So, so you can see me there. My personal page is set to private for close families and friends. So it's better to follow me on my Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page if you're on the Facebooks. I post way more art on there anyway. So now I'm creating a background color here. I'm going to do kind of a bit of a wash, so I can kind of show you what I'm working on here. There we go. Doing kind of a turquoisey color, but I'm kind of dirtying it up with some brown and orange. So it's not so much air. There we go. Not so it's not so bright. Oh, you hope to see me in Fan Expo in Dallas in June? No, unfortunately, I will not be at Dallas Fan Expo. But feel free to let them know you'd like to see me at that con, and hopefully they'll extend an invitation again. I was at their first, Fan Expo's first convention, Dallas convention, a few years ago. A lot of fun. Had a great time. Would love to come back. All right, so I've worked up a lot of my background color, and now I'm just going to cut it in through here. And kind of smoosh it around, as well as squeezing some water onto the board to let the water and paint pool. No pun intended at all. Didn't even realize it till after I said it. But it's true, that's what the paint will do. And the water will do. So just kind of schmooze it around here. Leaving some white areas open. Now this can be a challenge to overwork. There's a risk of overworking a background wash. I've done it in the past, and it really is frustrating. So, but it takes practice, and that's why we practice and learn, so that we can up our skills. Skills with a Z. Skills with a Z. Try to work in that Z into your skills whenever possible. Girls want guys with awesome skills. Boast have skills. Throwing star skills. Deadpool would know. He's probably got both those skills and more. But this is Deadpool Lander. So he's got modeling skills. And then just using some of this extra paint to put in some darker areas to let them, again, pool and dry in some really, hopefully, fun shapes and textures. So just dropping and dabbing it in. Now the light's reflecting off the water here, so it's kind of hard to see until it dries a bit more. Computer skills, yeah, gosh, computer skills. Skills with a Z. Hopefully you got those skills with a Z. That would make you pretty elite. Yeah, I know I'm a nerd. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. So on the downhill slope here, which is kind of nice because, like I mentioned at the top of the show, if you just tuned in, I had mentioned to the gang at the top of the show that I've got to run some errands this evening. Have to go to the office supply store to buy some more printer toner cartridges. Can't print my layouts and pencils out onto my boards. So now I'm spotting the black with a Pentel Pocket brush pen. I had meant to do this earlier. Forgot, so I'll do it now. Fortunately, the paint on his costume has dried, so the ink is not interfering with that. You definitely want to make sure the paint, the watercolor, is dry before doing a step like this. Otherwise, you could have a mess on your hands and possibly ruin your illustration. So make sure paint is dry. Hope to see me at Long Beach Comic Con. I hope to be at Long Beach Comic Con. I'll definitely, let's see, the Comic Con is in September, so I hope to be there. More than likely I will, but I haven't confirmed those plans yet. But I will be at Long Beach Comic Expo in oh my gosh, that's like in 2 weeks. I knew it was in 2 weeks, but when I actually say it out loud, it's like, oh my gosh. That's less than 2 weeks, actually. It's like in a week and a half. So it'll be here way before we know it. All right. So how are we looking here? I think we're just about done. I think I'm going to let this be... You know what? I want a little darker underneath his eyes. I want him to look a little more moody and dark and sickly. So I'm going to have to reactivate a flesh tone here and drop some blue in there to shadow it up. Okay. So I got my colors. Sorry I haven't mixed all of my colors on camera. Apologize for that. So okay, it's a little too much water on my brush pen there. I just want this to be a little darker, just for a little more contrast on his face. And it's going to make those yellow eyes pop a little bit more. Put a little more shadow underneath his nose, help create some depth underneath that nostril. Put a little more shadow underneath his mask, underneath that bottom lip a little. Underneath the neck. Or underneath the jawline, I should say, onto the neck. So there we go. That gives him just a little more shadow. It makes him look a little more sickly. I think it makes him look a little more cool, a little cooler, I should say. So we're gonna let this paint dry here. This is gonna take a while to dry, but in the meantime, I'm gonna drop my signature on here, and this piece is done. Today's date is the 11th, isn't it? Yes. 11th, February 2016. Ba-boom. There we go. There's the finished Deadpool piece. And I'll be posting a shot of this on my social networks here probably tomorrow. I'll probably gonna wait for this to dry. I'll post a scan tomorrow for Deadpool's movie release. Let me get you another shot here of the art, a little more straight on shot. And you can still see the water still drying there, and then here on the wash. But tune into my social networks tomorrow. Oh, I'm covering up the camera. We're gonna flip around, gang. Woo! All right. Hey, so tune into my social networks tomorrow. I should have the finished piece on my Twitter, on my Instagram, on my Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page, on my Tumblr account, at the very least those 4. So you can follow me on any and or all of those. And hopefully this video will end up on YouTube if there's enough space on my phone to save the video. So while I'm here, if there's any, I don't know how many of y'all are still here watching, but I can do a quick Q&A because I know there were a lot of questions and I missed a ton of them. So yeah, let's see if I can answer a few questions before I sign off. So what have I been working on? Spider-Man Silk. It's called The Amazing Spider-Man and Silk. It's an infinite comic on Marvel's website or on Comixology. It's an 8-chapter story. Chapters 1 and 2 are out right now. Or you can wait and get the print comic, which collects 2 chapters per issue. That's on March 2nd. It's written by Robbie Thompson, writer of Spidey and Silk. Fantastic writer, great Spider-Man writer. He's right up there with one of my favorites, along with Dan Slott. So, so you'll want to check that out. So that's where you can see me next, as well as some more covers. I've got my Doctor Who covers coming out. First one comes out next week on Doctor Who, 10th Doctor, year 2, issue number 7. So that's some of the stuff, and you can see all this on my social networks and ToddNauck.com. What do I think of artist Charlie Adlard? He's awesome. He's a great artist and a really great guy too. I've gotten to hang out with him on several occasions at conventions. Really great guy. I really like him a lot. What do you mean have the con invite you? The con will extend an invitation and they will bring me out to be a guest at their con. So you can, whatever con you're at, whatever is your closest con that you go to, you can send an email or tweet or post on their social network page saying, hey, can you bring Todd Nauck out as a guest, or Jim Lee, or Charlie Adlard, or whoever your favorite artists or writers are. Let them know, I really like these people and I want to see them at your con, because the con wants to know who they should bring in to get y'all to come to their convention. Have you ever drawn with a Wacom? I have not. I'm hoping to maybe try some digital drawing. Been talking with my digital art friends and what they use, so I might look into doing that myself, because it's some really cool stuff you can do there. Favorite stand-up comedian? Don't know if I have a favorite, but some that I like: Brian Regan, Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Gaffigan, Angela Johnson. Those are four that come off the top of my head that are pretty easy. God, it was on there and then it slipped out. So those are some of the ones that I like. But it's hard for me to say I have a favorite. All right, so let's see. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words there. Theron Moore. Can you be my gopher at Des Moines? I appreciate it, but it looks like I'm set as far as that's concerned. So, but I appreciate the offer, and I look forward to seeing you at Des Moines. So please do come by and say hi. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. That means a lot. Can you see me do blue steel? Maybe at a convention. Not here on camera. It would break my phone, because I think Deadpool does a better looking blue steel than I would. But thank you for the question. Thanks for keeping it on topic for the night. So thanks so much for tuning in, gang. I gotta run. I gotta, like I said, run those errands to get some office supplies. But check out Deadpool Lander on my social networks. Posted tomorrow, so you can take a look at how this piece turned out. Hope y'all have a great weekend. I hope y'all have fun seeing Deadpool or Zoolander or both, if y'all have the time to go. And then you can tell me how it was, since I will not be able to go. And I at least not for a while. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks so much, gang, and I'll see you online. Take care. Bye bye.